Thanks for watching again. This is gonna be the choux pastry. It's gonna be a labor of love and you're gonna get tired watching it because it does take quite a bit of arm work. You're gonna understand once we get through it. I hope you like it. Literally, cream puffs are my favorite thing. They are worth it in the end, I promise you. Give it a try. Here are the ingredients that you're gonna need. We've got 1 cup of milk, 4 eggs at room temperature, 1 cup of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a stick of butter, which is 1/2 cup. So if you don't have them at room temperature, you can actually put them in some warm water. That kind of speeds up the process. Even though this is gonna take a while, take your sheet pan, go ahead and line it, spray it. That way it's ready to go. And I preheated the oven to 425. All right, go ahead and set your temperature to medium, high. Go ahead and add the milk to the saucepan. And then you're also gonna add your stick of butter and the salt. Get the salt in there. And then there's some butter. Just throw it in there. You're gonna wait for that butter to melt. All right, I'm using the end of the spoon. I'm gonna show you why that is in just a little bit here. Make sure that butter is fully melted. You're gonna take that whole bunch of flour, you're gonna throw it in there.
You're gonna be stirring this for a while here. You see how it kind of becomes almost like a paste at first? You're gonna keep going and keep going.
This dough is gonna coat the pan once it's ready. You're gonna keep doing this for at least 2 minutes once it starts forming a dough. I'll try and show what I mean by when it coats the pan. Now this does get a little tiring after a while, and you wanna make sure you keep doing this. You just wanna make sure that you're constantly moving it so that it doesn't burn. Now you can kind of start seeing where that dough is starting to stick to the sides. That's when you know it's pretty much done. You can take it from here and remove it from the heat. Once you take it off the heat, just let it cool just briefly, and then it's gonna kind of separate a little bit so that you know it's cooled down, and then you're gonna incorporate the eggs. So throw the eggs in. It's gonna be a weird consistency, but I'll show you how it looks. It's gonna be slimy and strange. At first, you're gonna think this is never gonna come together, but believe me, it does. Kind of handy to have these mats too. When you are stirring this, sometimes that pan wants to fly around, and this is definitely one of those recipes where this will help quite a bit. Now it's literally turning into a dough just now. You can see it's become a thick paste. That's exactly what you want. I'm gonna take a piping bag. You're gonna wanna fill this all the way up. I'll just start from the center here. I'm gonna make 1.5 inch circle. So I'm gonna come up about 1 inch to a point. Now these are gonna expand a little bit, but you can put them a little bit close together. I would say leave about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch. One thing to remember is, as you're making this circle, for instance, I'll make this one here. If you have a circle in the center, you're gonna wanna push down to fill that up. The reason why is, after it cooks, it will leave a hole at the bottom, and when you put your filling in, it literally will just fall right out. You don't want that. Oh, Ace is crying. Did you hear him? Once you have all of these done, take a little bit of water and put your finger in it. And then just dab the tips of each one of the pastries down just a little bit, just to get a smooth top. By doing that, the tips won't burn and it'll actually create a nice smooth pastry on the top. All right, we have the oven at 425. What we're gonna do is we're gonna throw these bad boys in there. Remember, center rack is perfectly fine. All right, once they're in the oven, they're gonna be in there for about 20 minutes. Once they turn a lightly golden brown on the top, that means they're done. As you can see, they've started to rise a little bit. Once they start cooking, you can actually see the little bubbles start to pop up at the top. That means the butter is starting to evaporate inside the bun, and they're actually gonna be a beautiful golden color when they're finished. You can see now they're puffed up perfectly. Some of them have like the little caps that come up. No, that's fine. You're gonna be filling these, and the fun thing about it is when you serve these to people, sometimes they don't realize the cream will shoot at them out of some of the little weak parts of the pastry. So it is gonna be a funny thing. Maybe Alan will do it, who knows? I'm gonna turn the oven off, let them sit in there just for a little bit. Open the door, a crack, leave them in there for 5 to 10 minutes just to continue drying out a little bit. Because you're gonna be filling them with custard. You don't need to have any extra moisture in there. That custard's gonna bring some life back into it. They're gonna be cooling just a little bit longer. The reason why I have a big blanket on our counter is underneath that is a puzzle, because that's what we do nowadays. I've got a disposable piping bag right here. We're gonna cut the tip off that. Now the tip that I'm gonna use pokes into the pastry, and then you squeeze in the custard. Now it's a little bit tricky. You don't wanna cut too big of a hole. What you're gonna do is you're gonna throw this little tubey guy in there. Just pop it right in, and it falls into place. And just kind of squeeze it to the end. Now all you need is for that to come through. Literally just gonna go up to the end, cut it off. There's gonna be a little bit there, doesn't matter. So after you've cut that tip off, put your actual piping tip on, take the little flange top and screw it on. Create a little cup. So you're literally gonna put your hands underneath and hold it while you're filling that bag. Throw it in there. And once you have your piping bag full, you're gonna see it's kind of oozing a little bit. Taste test it. You're gonna pop it in and you're gonna squeeze. Now you're gonna actually see the pastry kind of expand once it's gotten full. For the taste test, you just gotta try one. One of the best things I've ever had. I never get sick of eating these, and they're so much better than the ones you buy in the frozen food section. Definitely try it. I know it's a lot of work, but it's totally worth it. And when you have extra cream left over, just eat it.